Match week 2. Let's freaking talk about it, baby. On our first match week, on the predictions for the first week for La Liga and the Premier League, we actually didn't do too bad. We went 11 out of 20, and that's because a lot of the favorites lost. I'm looking at you, Atletico Madrid, but also a lot of the draws cost me, aka like that's that third result. But whatever. 11 out of 20 for our first week. Let's see if we can improve on this week. Let's start with the Premier League from top to bottom. West Ham versus Chelsea. My brother's a Chelsea fan. You guys know that. Chelsea should win that game, so I'm going to pick Chelsea to win. Manchester City versus Spurs. It will be the most Spursy thing to beat Manchester City on the second game of the Premier League. So I'm going to go with Spurs or draw. Manchester City should win that game, but you know how it goes. Spurs, for some reason, just beats them. I don't know why. Bournemouth versus Wolves. Given what I saw first week, Wolves wasn't that bad. It's just Manchester City is that much better. Bournemouth. I'm going to go with a draw on that one. Brentford, Aston Villa. I'm going to pick Aston Villa. Burnley versus Sunderland. That's going to be a game. That's going to be a really, really good game. I'm actually going to pick Sunderland on this one because they did really, really good on the first match that they had. They look really good. Arsenal Leeds. Arsenal should win. Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. I'm going to pick Crystal Palace even though now they don't have Ese, so we'll see what happens. Everton versus Brighton. I'll pick a draw. Fulham versus Manchester United. Manchester United actually might convince us on this one. I would say a lot of goals on that one. Go Fulham. Fulham or draw. And Newcastle Liverpool, that's gonna be bloody. Liverpool should win that game. And then when it comes down to La Liga, Real Betis versus Deportivo Alavés, Real Betis should win that one. Atletico Madrid, Elche. Atletico Madrid has to bounce back, so I'm gonna pick Atletico Madrid. Osasuna versus Valencia. Osasuna looked good against us because they were very, very good defensively. I'm gonna pick Osasuna at home. Villarreal versus Girona. Again, Girona fast track to be competing for relegation. So Villarreal. Athletic Club versus Rayo Vallecano. That's gonna be a nice game. Athletic Club. I'm gonna pick, but Rayo Vallecano could give the surprise. Mallorca versus Celta. Mallorca after like the 2 red cards that they got and everything. I'll pick Celta actually. Celta or a draw. Levante versus Barcelona. I'm going to pick Barcelona on that one. Real Sociedad versus Espanyol. Real Sociedad. Real Oviedo versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid. And Sevilla versus Getafe. Bro, is Getafe going to pull it again? Let's go Sevilla, but Lord knows. You guys let me know your predictions in the comments, and we'll check up next week.